Hi all, I'm the CRM Ninja and bringing another episode of The Oops Factor. Today, I'm joined by Dave Clark. Dave, thanks a lot for coming along.
Hey, Wayne, how are you?
Good, thanks. How's your weekend been?
It's been actually good, pretty relaxing. I've managed to get through the Christmas period with only one hangover, and I live to tell the
Okay,
tale.
that sounds impressive. I'm sure that people watching this might wish that they were the same, did the same boat.
Yeah, all good. How
So,
about you? Christmas?
yeah, no, it's been seasonal. It was great weather yesterday. Managed to actually get
Mm,
quite a bit of gardening done and clearing up my garden. We're in the middle of putting in a new garden shed.
mm.
So need to get stuff ready for concrete base. It's actually sunny outside, so hopefully this afternoon I can get out and continue. My wife loves it when I'm clearing things away that's a massive mess. So I hope she doesn't see this bit, but yeah,
We can edit it.
yeah, I might leave that in and say, look, you should really watch this and get to spend some time. So before we get on to talking about the Oops Factor, I understand that you enjoy running. In fact, I understand that you've done several ultra marathons.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, in a past life. Anyway, yeah, certainly.
Can you share with us how you got into running to start off with and what made you decide to do ultra marathons and understand you're now training for triathlons?
Yeah, sure thing. And actually, the more I think about it, there's probably a few oopses that I can draw from here as well. Well, I'm not sure how true it is, but I've always maintained that I got into running back when I was at university.
Okay,
Just the opposite of an independent person, really. Just living with my friends, not really working hard enough whatsoever. Um, and I remember one day sort of looking out of my bedroom window, and I could see these pylons that were absolutely miles away on top of a hill, and thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool and liberating if I could just run there? If I could get to those pylons and then come back and tell all my mates. Bear in mind that the surrounding area at the university was lovely countryside, but no one ever left the four walls that they were in or the very small campus that we were in. And so over like a number of months, I did it. I just started running there. I could get about halfway. My legs would almost fall off, just tendonitis and everything.
I
I'd
hate
come
running myself,
to,
so I know what you
oh,
mean
you
by
felt the
that.
pain.
Yes, I'm actually not allowed to run technically on medical basis anymore.
Really? Can you do
Yes.
anything else like swim or?
No, I can swim. So the reason I can't run is I used to skydive and had a slight issue, broke my leg. I have titanium in my right leg. I'm not allowed to do anything that's repeated harsh, hard impact because it starts sending pain up and down the leg. So
Yeah,
yeah,
of course. So I don't. You definitely touched on this with the episode you had with Paddy, right?
yeah, that's right. Well, Pat is a fellow skydiver, so yeah.
That's right.
So I stick to not running. I walk. I will sit. I will drive. I ride my motorbike. I love riding a motorbike. But something that's like repeated, harsh, hard impacts. My doctor says that I shouldn't do it. So I'm medically excused from running.
That's a good, very good excuse.
So running. So you enjoyed, and you obviously, hopefully, I hope got better at it over the years. What made you decide to start going for the triathlon then?
I think it's exactly what you're talking about, the repeated harsh impacts. So I did a fair few last year, and then I just sort of kept signing up to each event. And my reasoning behind it was, let's just see how far I can go, honestly.
Okay.
And there's a really fine balance I found to strike between being his boredom and his being stressed. And I think this goes for everything in life. If you're right in between, it's a lovely place to be
Yeah.
because you're or maybe just slightly over the edge. You're constantly pushing yourself, but it's not, you're not bored and you're not completely stressed and just going to burn out straight away. I think I got to about here, which is why I stopped just running and
Ouch.
running. And
Okay.
I just very tired. So I thought, I'll have a break. And what you see before you now is me after having had about a 2 month break of just,
Right.
there's a bit of cycling, but it's, a lot of cafe stops, probably too many cakes to be able to be justified.
Well, then you go back on
Um,
the bike and you burn off the calories until you get to the next one. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
just about, but but yeah, I hate swimming, but it's just a means to an end because I really want to see how far I can travel again. And, I just need some goals for 2020, really.
Yeah, everyone at the moment is talking about goals. My LinkedIn, my Twitter feeds, everybody talking about 2019 retrospective and, goals for 2020. One thing that I did find, not with running, but with swimming or with other stuff, It's physical activity, it balances out the mental state, and you can get into sort of the zone, which is very cathartic, whereby it takes time to get into the zone. I used to cycle hundreds of miles a week, but then once you're in that zone, and you can let your mind start processing stuff subconsciously, and it really feels really good. And obviously you have, the runner's high or the swimmer's high or something afterwards. So
I'm completely with you there. But again, I do think and this is some of the oopses I suppose I can take into working life, is if you get the right balance for the amount of exercise in a day, don't you find your productivity through the roof?
Yeah.
But if you get it wrong, then you're tired. Or if you exercise not at all, then you're a bit lazy, I find.
That is true. So you have a triathlon booked yet, or?
Yeah, I'm going to do the Ironman in Austria in July. So,
you really are going for it. I was going to ask if you were
go
considering
that. Anyway. Yeah, again, it's just because for me, the question isn't how fast can I be compared to other people. It's just, can I do it or not? Those have always been the sort of events of interest to me. July seems like a good time. I can have a structured training plan to keep me honest through February when it's cold and dark in the morning. But, I've got a plan that says go out and do some intervals on the bike at 6 a.m. in the cold and the wet.
Sounds good. Well, hopefully you can post a short clip after you finish it and let us know how you've done.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll try and do that.
Brilliant. So now that we've covered running and exercise and being careful with that, and of course, what's your Roots Factor story that you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, so good question. I suppose when I thought about this, I cast my mind back, and the first story that sprung to mind is probably, as most of your guests, has been from the very start of my career. So I began from a computer science background, so a lot of programming. But then the next question is, fresh out of university, well, how do you apply this to the working world?
Theory into practical applications.
Yeah. So what the hell are they, basically? And as I found with myself, and I think it seems to be true with a lot of junior consultants just getting into the sport, you sort of start on the the sports CRM. It seems to be starting on a support desk can be quite useful, and so that's where my career started. And so there I am. We're a team of about 5, and we're all collecting in all these tickets. And the more that we work on this desk, it just seems like one of our most high-profile clients, all of their tickets are gravitating towards me, and I become the go-to guy for these support tickets.
Out of curiosity, was that just random, or did the guy in charge of managing the support ticket system put a workflow or something in place to get them to flow just to you?
That's a good question. It was, I think, partly just because I'd become very comfortable with their system.
Okay.
By chance. So I thought, okay, put them my way, because I know their system inside and out by now. And it was also partly in the days of when, and I hope Microsoft aren't watching, but if you remember the Outlook add-in way back for CRM 11, it wasn't exactly mature. There were a few issues with it, quite a few gotchas and caching issues, and I seemed to just get my head around them and be able to sort out all the individual users' issues with them.
Okay, so you learned the system for the particular client and the system, and you sort of own that space. So naturally, you then took control of it. Makes sense.
Yeah, we get a new ticket in for them, and it would come my way. And this isn't quite oops worthy, but to say one of the issues I remember them having was just the age old, our system is slow. Can we sort it out? So they would book a few days with little old me to say, okay, we'll go and have a look. And the first thing you check is the async process table. And it was absolutely stacked with emails failing. So we were there debugging the email router and having a look at what's going on while there's so many async processes failing. We were always able to get to the bottom of that, but we realized that some weren't going to be fixable. And so we needed to have a bulk deletion job scheduled to remove these components weekly. So I thought, cool, okay, we'll do that. This is great. I'm going to raise my profile in the company. I'm going to really sort out this high profile customers' issues. I create this bulk deletion job and accidentally run it in the middle of the day.
in the middle of it. Was there any particular day of the week you recall? Monday or Friday or?
It almost certainly would have been a Monday.
So everybody's just come back from a weekend ready to go and you've just kicked off a bulk deletion job.
Yeah, but it was probably about the middle of the day. They go, hey, we've all tried to log on this Monday morning, and it's everything's really slow. Is there anything you can do to help? So yeah, sure, I'll schedule a bulk deletion job for, let's say, midnight every Monday, or maybe every Sunday once a week. And
Right.
I ended up hitting it to run on demand there and then, and it just runs in the middle of the day.
Woo.
So yeah, there we are with our async log table that's now basically doubled because we're trying to delete a load of things at the same time. It's great.
Okay. How long did that take to kick through?
I don't remember. I was probably fired straight off. No, I wasn't.
It's a haze of memory. It's okay. We won't ask, but obviously a lot of records being affected in system performance. Okay.
I couldn't cancel it, I can tell you that, because I tried with a few beads of sweat running down my face.
Yes, turning the server off and on again doesn't work.
Yeah, not on production, unfortunately.
Indeed, yes. Yes, we've got to be very careful. Production servers, they're sort of built to stop you doing those off and on again things.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got past that. That was a hurdle. That's not my oops. That was just a hurdle.
Okay.
And just bear in mind that this whole time, I don't want to be in support. I think one of the things I failed to mention perhaps is I was trying to get more with this client because they had a very extensive JavaScript library. And that's a very good entry point as a budding junior developer, if you like, to make their move from the support desk is, understand JavaScript and its application for CRM. So I was constantly debugging it. I was constantly trying to add more functions and get it. So,
I'll take your word from it. I'm not from a developer background myself. I started with support. No. I'm not a dev. I really respect devs what they do. I'm the liaison in teams between devs and the clients. I translate the concepts, business to dev talk and dev talk to business talk. But no, I don't write code as such.
So this whole low code, no code movement is a really good one for you.
Yep. Amazing.
Okay, I really need to know from some of your other guests who love code, like me, what they think about it, because this hashtag just needs to go, I think.
And this is an aside, obviously, on Oops Factor, but it's not about getting rid of code. It's about putting code in the right places. And if you can enable stuff through the front end that previously you would need code for, but now it's just there. So then you get power users to be able to do it. And you don't need the time developers who can work on the stuff that actually really does need code. And again, as I'm sure you know, it's not about the number of lines of code you write. It's about the quality. 10 lines of quality code that takes the developer a day is much better than 1,000 lines of code written by a different developer in the same day, which just doesn't do it.
So true. Yeah, certainly. And it's going to result in the highest quality for our customers, no doubt. I think we have a joke here where you'll be familiar with the Scrum board. We'll have our TV up and we'll stand around it for our daily stand-up or sprint planning. And we'll be there trying to choose the next tasks to take on for the upcoming sprint. And let's say these days, about a tenth of it involves code. And so we're like, oh, pick me, please pick me. I'll do it. I'd love to write a custom workflow. Most people have forgotten what they are.
Indeed. So back to the story.
Yeah, anyway, so we got past that little blip. I'm trying to become more of a consultant developer from where I am at the time, which is about 8 years ago, just a support consultant. And I end up being able to go on site and meet the top brass at this big company. So it's a little bit nervous. Wow. But I was there with the CEO of our company, so it's a bit of a confidence booster. I looked scruffy. I didn't fit in at all. It was a baggy, hand-me-down suit. My hair was all unkempt and stuff. But there I am.
Possibly imagine it. I mean, look at you now.
Well, thanks. And yeah, I think I interviewed really well for the role of becoming their not on-site consultant, but their primary consultant, if you like, to carry on their work moving forward. They were in the process of upgrading from CRM 11 to 13. They needed someone to do it. If I'm honest, I wasn't a candidate. I was a support consultant. I didn't know what I was doing. I was very, very naive, but I interviewed well. And so I sort of got it. And so from there on, all the requirements that needed to be done fell with me. I'm out of them. And I thought, great, this is fantastic. I'm going to be able to write some plugins, some custom workflows. Obviously, I made all the little mistakes that people make along the way with those things, like retrieving all the columns, maybe any developers watching will know, and updating the entire record table, for example, that kicks off every workflow under the sun. But that wasn't my oops. My oops was just as basic as, okay, let's go. We've got a requirements backlog. Let's get moving and let's make a name for myself. And I ended up not even being able to make a basic form change. It was honestly something as simple as relabel last name to surname on the contact. And there I make the change in development. There was no DevOps, as there is now.
Right.
It's in a managed solution, which gets deployed to all environments. It worked in UAT. And it didn't work in production. And I've changed the ticket. Maybe I don't think it was Jira back then. It was some other tool. I've changed it to done, and someone's testing it. They tested it in UAT. It gets the sign off, and then it goes into production. They go, "Hang on, Dave, the change hasn't worked. Like, you've been on this job
It's not
for
working.
it's just not working." Our users are reporting that none of the field labels have changed in production.
Right.
Thinking, what the hell? We did this in dev, tested it. It's a really basic change.
Yeah.
And we made the change in UAT as well. And someone tested it and it worked, but it's just not working in production.
So what was the reason?
That was my oops. So the reason is, it turns out if an unmanaged change has been made in an environment, when you deploy, if it's a form, I should say, it's not with all components, but specifically with forms, they're one of them. If you deploy a change over the top of it, even if it's managed, it won't overwrite it because the unmanaged layer has been touched with that form in production. Yep. And I think I'm basically just poorly quoting a Scott Giro blog post, which is how I found out many years ago. It's something I've held with me today.
Yeah, that's very true. So going forward, and either for existing client projects or future client projects, how would you take that experience with you to ensure that things like that don't happen again and cause problems?
Well, it's got to be that it's all well and good being able to interview well, sell yourself well, or have the confidence to speak about something, but you've got to back that up with some serious gravity of reading, some knowledge. I even found just way back when doing the really basic Microsoft exams helped me hugely.
Yeah. Well, they're not so basic anymore. I mean, now for the Microsoft certifications, you really need the hands-on knowledge, and there are just so many more that are coming out nowadays.
Yeah, certainly. So I think I learned that lesson. You can certainly Google on the job, as many people do, and there are great resources out there, Stack Overflow, for example. But really, I think just having the years of experience behind you and taking exams, I don't think you can really put a price on that. You've got to do them.
Brilliant. No, that's very good. Thank you for sharing that with us. And of course, we also learned from your story that you don't make changes in production to unmanaged solutions unless it's an absolute emergency, and then you make sure it's all documented and deal with it and roll out a patch appropriately.
Yeah, I think long gone are the days of those late night deployments, hopefully, of people trying to rush in these changes via portal or CRM. Now that we've got so many DevOps tools available to us, that sort of thing just doesn't really seem to happen anymore.
Indeed. And I can't say really much about it, but I understand there's actually going to be some changes that Microsoft is aiming to roll out over the next year or so with regards to DevOps and releases. I've been talking with some Microsoft people, and at the point where I can talk about it more, I will definitely talk about it.
Well, we've got this on video. You're recording, right? So
I know I'm recording. I know I'm just giving a very little bit of teasing, tantalizing hint that some stuff could be changing, possibly, and we'll see. So thank you for joining us. And if you could recommend somebody who you would like to see come on the Oops Factor and share their Oops Factor story, who would you want to see on it?
That's a good question. So it'd either be one of my colleagues, Nick, who's basically just been my boss, my mentor throughout the years.
Okay.
Or perhaps it would actually be someone who's a bit under the radar, called Digital Flow on GitHub. Been working with him more recently on an alternative for EasyRead Pro, as you might know, the .NET-based automation test framework. He's written one that allows you to write automation tests in TypeScript, something I've been blogging about more recently.
Interesting.
I think we should try and get him involved.
Sure. Well, I'll drop you a line, and if you can make introductions to both of them, then that'll be great.
Sure thing.
Really appreciate your time coming on the show. Viewers, we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to come on the show yourself, please feel free to click the link below, fill in the form with it. In the meantime, you can also feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlist and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the blog. I hope you have a great day.